Hey, what's up, my friend? This is Chris, and I'm here in the beautiful, picturesque island of Holbox, Mexico. And I'm gonna tell you in this video 3 things that I wish I would have known when I was 18 years old. Now, these are things that I learned in my 20s and absolutely changed my life, okay? I went from being depressed, working in an office, and just hating my life, basically, and looking forward to I don't even know what, to being somebody who wakes up every day, loving my life, loving going outside. I wake up with a smile on my face, and because of these 3 things I learned in my 20s, my life was able to completely change. So keep on watching, and hopefully they will change your life as well. So the first thing I wish I would have known when I was 18 that I learned later on is that whatever life you have is the life that you create for yourself, okay? It's up to you to create the life that you want. And this, unfortunately, is probably the biggest lie that we're given to as kids on a most consistent basis, which is that you do what you're told your whole life, and then some outside force is gonna come and bring you to something better. Take the movies that we're shown to as kids, all right? Let's take 3 examples of probably the most famous, most popular, most watched fantasy movies of all time, which is Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings. Okay, in each one of these movies, it's basically got the same type of beginning. The hero starts his adventure in basically the same way in all 3 of these movies, which is he's a slave. In Anakin Skywalker's case in Star Wars, he's a slave, or Luke's case, he's basically a farmer, essentially a slave who just does what his aunt and uncle tell him to do. Or in Harry Potter's case, he's a kid who hates his life, hates his family. It's very boring, very painful, very abusive. And then Hagrid the wizard comes along and takes him on the magical train into the world of the wizards, all right? Or Star Wars, you got the Jedi, you got Obi-Wan, who comes in and basically takes Luke or takes Anakin into some intergalactic adventure, which is really exciting and really fun. But before that, they're basically just like prisoners or literal slaves, just doing what they're told. Or you look at Lord of the Rings, all right? Frodo Baggins. He lives in a small town, he has a boring life, until Gandalf the wizard comes along and takes him on this adventure, all right? This isn't how the world works. Let's take another example, all right, of how we're lied to. Let's take a holiday like Christmas, all right? What's the message behind Christmas, okay? You do what you're told the whole year. You're a good little boy or you're a good little girl. And what's the definition of good? Just doing what you're told, following the script, following the system. And Santa's always watching, and Santa's gonna reward you and slide down your chimney in some kind of magical way and give you all these like really cool gifts if you just do what the fuck you're told, all right? This is not how the world works, okay? If you do what you're told your whole life, if you just follow the script, there's no kind of magical reward or really cool adventure at the end. What actually happens is you're gonna get old, you're gonna miss the chance to do all the things you wanted to do, and then you're gonna fucking die, okay? That's what happens at the end, okay? There's no Santa Claus. Gandalf's not gonna come and take you on an adventure. What's gonna happen is you're gonna miss your life, you're gonna get old, you're gonna have regrets, and then you're gonna die, okay? So this is a harmful lie. And once I realized that, I was actually able to start working on creating the type of life that I wanted for myself. I was able to get a job where I can work on the internet and travel and be in really cool places and wake up every day and not feel depressed, not hating the life I'm gonna have and going to work and sitting in an office and doing things I don't wanna do, but rather just basically my whole life became like what most people would consider to be kind of like a fantasy or a vacation, but I didn't need to wait for Gandalf or Obi-Wan Kenobi to come and bring me this life. And if I had been waiting, I'd still be fucking waiting, okay? So it's up to you. You have to create whatever life that you want for yourself. Second thing that I realized in my 20s, which I wish I would have known when I was 18, is that there's no so-called permanent record, okay? From the time you're a kid, you know, you're given this idea that your grades, or let's say you get punished in school if you're maybe suspended or expelled, this goes on some kind of a permanent record that's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life. Same thing with your career, okay, your resume. You know, people are terrified to even quit their job for a few months. They're terrified because they think, oh, if I stop working, that's gonna go on my permanent record and no one's ever gonna hire me again and my life's gonna be ruined just because I quit my job for 1 or 2 months. This is patently false, and the moment I realized that was the moment that I became free. all right? So the fact is, there is no permanent record, okay? I was suspended in school as a kid, okay? I quit my job, and that actually allowed me to become the free human being that I am today. And if you look at the most successful people in the world, the 1% or the top 0.1%, they have stuff on their so-called permanent records, which are disgraceful to most people, which would actually make most people terrified to do half the things that these people have done. You look at political leaders, for example. Take Donald Trump, for example. He's done some shady business things in the past that were on his permanent record, and which, most people would just be way too scared to ever do. Such as, like, I don't know, they say he underpaid some contractors. I know for a fact he was involved in some kind of pyramid schemes and things like that, okay? It's on his permanent record, but who gives a fuck? It doesn't fucking matter at all. He's made billions of dollars and he's the president of the US. You take Hillary Clinton, okay? Hillary Clinton is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and what's on her permanent record? Well, before she was a politician, she was a lawyer who defended rapists, okay? She defended rapists, including child rapists, and it's on her permanent record. What else did she do? They say, oh, she started a charity for Haiti and took 94% of the money, which was millions and millions of dollars. It's on her permanent record. Okay, but guess what? She's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and she almost became the president of the USA. Take Bill Clinton. This guy was the president of the US, getting blowjobs from 19-year-old girls in the freaking White House. All right, it's on his permanent record. This is stuff that would scare the crap out of the average person. But the fact is, the top 1% and the top 0.1% of people, these people have done things that you and I and the average person can't even imagine. But guess what? The fact that they're pushing the envelope, the fact that they're not scared to go outside of their comfort zone is what makes them so successful. Now, I'm not advocating any sort of unethical behavior here. I'm just saying that, if you're the type of person who might be scared to quit your job for 3 months because you think your life will be ruined forever, don't worry about that, okay? There is no permanent record. Your permanent record is whatever you want it to be, and as long as you're providing value to the marketplace, that's really what people care about. Okay, people who like Hillary Clinton, they don't care that she was a lawyer who defended questionable people in the past, because she provides value to them, and that's what they like about her, all right? And just like she did that, same thing with you. If you provide value in the marketplace, nobody gives a fuck about what you did in high school, what your grades were, or the fact that you might have quit your job or did something somewhat 1%, probably 1% as questionable as what the top 1% or top 0.1% of people have done. So there is no permanent record. The third thing I figured out in my 20s that I wish I would have known when I was 18 is that nobody has figured it out, okay? Nobody has life figured out, okay? When you're a kid, you're taught to follow a certain script, which might involve school, which might involve post-secondary school like university, and then getting a job and working your way through the ranks. And the reason you think this is credible is because you're told this by people who are older than you, people in authority, and basically people who you think and who you're told have so-called figured it out. But the fact is, they have not figured it out. Nobody has figured it out. What the truth is that everybody is just basically living life for the first time. No one's lived life before. Nobody has a script. Nobody has a template. We're all figuring it out for the first time, okay? You have to realize this, because if you're just following somebody else's script, oftentimes you're gonna end up with a life that you regret. And the people who do follow that script, I've seen it countless times. They missed out on their kids' childhoods because they're working too much. They regret the time they didn't spend with their family. They regret not having started that business or pursued that dream just because they think they're following some kind of a script that's proven and that somebody else has figured out. Well, guess what? No one has it figured out. We're all figuring it out for the first time. And if you're gonna be figuring it out for the first time, then why not just do so in a way that makes sense for you, okay? I'm figuring it out too, but the fact is, that the path that I've taken has gotten me to a life where I can work online, I can live on the beach, and I can basically live the type of life that people only dream of having on vacation. Okay, I'm figuring it out too. So whether you want to follow somebody else's script that's going to leave you in an office for 40 hours a week for 50 or however many years, or you want to follow a blueprint of somebody who's also figuring it out, but happens to have a life that most people think would be highly enjoyable, that's really up to you. But you really need to recognize that just because some institution is telling you what to do, and the fact is, oftentimes, these people who claim to have a solution for you are oftentimes people who are trying to take advantage of you, okay? The governments and the universities and the banks who want you to take on loans and want you to go into post-secondary education, it's not because they care about you, okay? And the proof of this is that there's way too many people in these institutions and not nearly enough jobs for these people. So what ends up happening is you have what they call the education bubble, right? Too many people with degrees and not enough people with useful skills. And the reason why that happened is because they don't have a script that works for everybody. Worse than that, these people are oftentimes trying to take advantage of you through your debts, and even worse, actually trying to take advantage of your brain and indoctrinate you in these institutions with ideologies that don't benefit you, okay? A lot of people who end up with like social studies degrees in university, not only do they end up with debt, but they end up with toxic mindsets and victim mentalities, which are not only not going to help them get a job and serve them in life, but are actually going to set them back, because you take that mentality into a business or into a workplace, and it's the most toxic mindset that's actually not going to help you get ahead, and is going to make a lot of problems for you in whatever company and whatever workforce that you're in. So they definitely don't have a script that's figured out, and you know what? Might as well just pursue your dreams while you're at it. So if you're still watching this video, I can tell you're the type of person who's into freedom and who's into what I'm saying. Maybe you want to work online, maybe you want to be able to live on the beach and travel the world as you're making a lot of money and living your dreams. So for a very limited time, I'm going to be able to accept a few people that I can help personally to teach them how to do what I'm doing, how to make money online, and how to basically live whatever type of lifestyle while you're making that money, okay? So I'm going to post my email address down below. And basically what this is about is I have a digital marketing agency where I help people online through YouTube ads, through Facebook ads, through other types of digital marketing to help them sell their products online. So if that's interesting to you, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me an email. My email address is down below. And otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.